So for every topic that we cover this term, I'm going to post a short video where I'll address some key themes that I want you to pull out of the notes. I might highlight some things that I think are particularly important, or I might go into some greater or more in-depth explanation of a particular example or of a concept. Basically, I'm not going to be doing full 50-minute lectures for you. That's not the point of this. Instead, what I want to do is, as I mentioned, really highlight key things or critical things, and then use these videos to kind of stimulate discussion when we go to our synchronous sessions. So we'll have something to talk about. For this first week, we're looking at just kind of introducing the course overall and really focusing on the course outline or the syllabus. So if you've already read the syllabus, you'll see that you do have a quiz that you're expected to complete. It's worth 2% of your grade, and you must complete all of the questions in the quiz and submit your responses by 11:59 p.m. on September 18th. That date I chose because that is the add drop deadline. So the idea was that I wanted to make sure that as students are coming and going from this course, that they'd have the opportunity to do the quiz without any sort of penalty. So that's why it's at the end of week 2 instead of the end of week 1. So one of the things I'll also try to do throughout this lecture in particular, but also other lecture videos, is reveal to you, make transparent to you the decisions I've made regarding this course and why we're approaching topics the way we are. And I'm hoping that will make the course content a lot more accessible to you, a lot more engaging, and also kind of demystify a little bit of what goes on behind the scenes in academia as well. I think that's really important. Okay, so let's get to it. So I'm not going to read the course syllabus or the course outline to you. You'll see it's available as a PDF on Blackboard. And of course, really what I wanted to emphasize here was just how important it is. That's why you have a syllabus quiz, especially in an online environment like this, to know your syllabus, to live by your syllabus, right? This should be your first place you go when you have a question about something in the course. Everything from due dates to what you need to be working on to how to get a hold of myself and my colleague, our lab instructor this term, Dr. Paul Prince. So again, if something isn't clear in the syllabus, don't hesitate to reach out to myself or Dr. Prince for assistance with that. So I posted a fun little video link for you. I'll just leave that without any context. Okay. So one of the things actually I should do here is pop out for a second, and you should see this, is that I don't actually recommend that you view the PowerPoint in presentation view. Instead, what I recommend is that you look at the PowerPoint from the notes page format, or even just in the editing format, because what you'll see then is that for most of the slides, but not all of them, I've provided basically what would be my lecture notes. So I've provided a little bit of comments as to why this content has been included, or why I think it's important, or as we get into actual content for this course, like actual subjects like dating techniques or data collection or fieldwork or whatever, that you'll have a bit more context for just the kind of Coles Notes versions, the major points that have been provided. In some cases, I'll just have an image and then I'll have some explanation of what that image is meant to be. Okay, so let's just pop back into presenter view. Here, there we go. So course description, this is why you're taking this course. I just have this little editor's note at the bottom there, following the course description or the calendar description, that this isn't a world prehistory course. Our world prehistory course is Anth 219, but this is really, so it's not an overview of different cultures and their histories across the globe, going back as far as we have the archaeological record for it. This is a course looking at what archaeologists do, how we do it, and from my perspective, what I always emphasize is why we do it as well. So you'll see that we are going to spend a whole week looking at ethics, because I think that's really critical. So all of you are going to be coming to this course with one of these prerequisites, either having taken one of our 100 level anthropology courses, so 101, 150, or 110, or you've taken Earth Sciences 101 as well. So because I don't know what background you came from, what courses you have, we'll begin with a little bit of general information about what anthropology is, what archaeology is, to catch everyone up to speed, and then we'll get really in depth into what this course is going to look like. Okay, So again, I have some background about what the courses are structured like. I have course objectives or learning outcomes listed here. I mentioned in the notes below that these course objectives, learning outcomes have been developed by myself and my colleagues in anthropology. These are kind of our high-level goals of what our students will take away from after taking this course, right? So this is, in theory, how I'm supposed to be evaluating you as well. So one of our goals will be for you to be able to define the main goals of anthropological archaeology. So basically learning outcomes and course outcomes, or learning objectives, or course objectives, learning outcomes, whatever language we use around it. The idea is that this is what our exam question should be informed by, right? Is these different things, and your assignment should be informed by. Okay. So this is what our grade determination looks like. So you have your syllabus quiz. I'd also like you to take the general lab safety course. Many of you who've taken chemistry or biology may have encountered this course already. It's so great. I have instructions about how you can upload your certificate. If this is new to you, then again, easy peasy, you just take the online course through Blackboard, you get your certificate, bam. So 2 weeks in, you'll have completed 5% of the course. The rest of the course, your grade will be determined through lab exercises, through midterm exams, and then through the final exam. Just a note about lab exercises. So pretty much every week or every 2 weeks, we'll have lab content that will be posted on Blackboard. And I want you to complete 4 out of the 6 assignments that are going to be posted for you, or exercises that are going to be posted for you. So this will be allow you to have a little bit of choice and agency in terms of what your course load looks like throughout the term. So if it's really heavy at a point, if doing the little archaeology exercise is just something you'd rather not have on your plate, no problem. You can choose not to do that one. But I have some further information about that later on. Okay, so about exams, they're going to be open book online exams. You're going to have 24 hours in which to complete the midterm. I hope that this will be sufficient accommodation for those of you who do have extra time, time and a half, double time accommodations. I haven't made the exams any longer. It shouldn't take you 24 hours to complete per se. This is the same style and format of exam that I would give in an in-person class, and it would be designed for completing it within 50 minutes. So because of the problems that can arise from doing things online, if too many people are on Blackboard can crash, your Wi-Fi could cut out, for whatever reason, that may prevent you from completing it in a 50-minute time length. Rather than forcing you or holding you to that 50-minute limit, I'm giving everyone 24 hours to work through the questions. Okay, so you'll get a study guide closer to the exam that will explain what content will be included, and a little bit of extra tips on terms of how to write the online exam, including the instructions on how to access it. Okay, so lab assignment instructions, again, those will be on Blackboard. Please note that we do not do supplementary assignments if you want to boost your grade. Please take advantage of myself and Dr. Prince throughout the whole term, that if you have any questions about how you were assessed, if you want to do better, talk with us, engage with us, and we can assist you with that. That's where you'll have your opportunity to improve your grade, is throughout the term. At the end of the year, when your final grade has been calculated and posted, asking for, an extra few percent to go up to the next grade, that's a frustrating thing, because you've had all term in which you could take advantage of us in order to improve your performance. So really do that. In an online environment, it's really critical that you take advantage of having, in this case, 2 instructors to reach out with and connect with, to do these kinds of things with. Okay, so again, information, this is the policy on late and missed assignments. We also have a policy on missed exams. Please read that carefully. I will note that we are going to be doing weekly Blackboard Collaborate sessions. They are scheduled for when our class would normally meet on Wednesdays. If it was an in-person class, you're not required to attend these. You're not required to have your video on. I ask when you join that you initially begin muted, and then basically raise your hand, and I'll post a little video. Or actually, the first time we do the Collaborate session, I'll explain a little bit about some of the things you can do in Collaborate that will allow you to interact with myself and your classmates. And then, of course, I'll record these and post them to Blackboard for those of you who aren't able to attend. Okay, we also have a policy then around recording and sharing course material. Basically, yeah, you're allowed to do that. You're just not allowed to distribute it. it's really only for the purpose of your learning that you are able to access these materials. So distributing them, selling them on websites is prohibited without engaging with me. Okay. To contact me, fairly straightforward. Use your email account. You're required to do that. Your McEwen email account. We ask that you put Anth 206 in the subject line. And this is because Dr. Prince and myself have several courses this term. And we prioritize our email based on what is in the subject line. So if you have Anth 206 important, and you're sending that message to myself the day before the Anth 206 midterm exam, clearly I'm going to look at that email way before I look at any of my others, because I want to make sure that you're getting a really quick, immediate response. If it's not important, if you wanted to just ask me a question about another topic or engage with me more generally, then you can use something else in the subject line. Just be like a general question about X, and then I'll get to that email at a little bit of a different priority rate, clearly, than things that are really urgent because they relate to performance in a course as well. We'll try to get back to you within 24 hours, but we're also going to try to look for that life-work balance. So if you send an email after 6 p.m., with kind of the exception of due date days, when I'll be monitoring email into the evening just to help troubleshoot any last-minute problems, I'll respond to you first thing in the morning. Of course, we'll be using Blackboard for announcements and other key communications. Dr. Prince and myself will also have open office hours. I'm going to post a little bit of information about what those are going to look like. Basically, I'll have a couple of blocks a week in which you can pop online to meet me for messages. I think to make it easier and accessible, I might actually use Google Forms where you can sign up for a 15-minute time slot. That way I'm just not hanging out online by myself in an empty chat room for an hour and a half twice a week, but also to ensure that you have privacy and can talk to me about your particular performance in this course without worrying about other students listening in, hearing in. So we'll do that. And then, of course, closer to exams and stuff like that, we'll just do broad open sessions available to everyone. So look for some information to be posted on Blackboard about how to access office hours. I also have a couple of social media accounts. Please do feel free to engage with me on social media. It's not required, but it's an opportunity for you to do a little bit, see some of the issues that are coming up in archaeology, in particular on Twitter. I tend to use the Anth206 hashtag. If you don't want to sign up for an account, you can also just search for these hashtags without an account and see all the public-facing stuff, and my account is publicly available. So you'll see the other things that I've talked about other students with through these platforms. Okay. The last few things I want to highlight here relate to responsibilities and kind of other expectations. Really what's important is to know that you are responsible for staying on top of deadlines. I won't be emailing you reminders about things, although chances are you'll still be getting emails from me as assignment and exams are approaching, just because other questions will come up from your classmates. You're responsible for, academic integrity, and that's the big one. I like McEwen's approach to academic integrity. Again, I provide some more information about this below, but we have what are called the 3 R's of academic integrity, which is rights, responsibilities, and resources. So in terms of your rights, you have the right to have access to the resources you need. I mean, so a lot of these R's kind of link into each other. You have the right to ask how you were assessed on assignment, right? So if I just were to give you, let's say, an A on an assignment or a C- on an assignment, you have the right to ask me, well, how was this grade determined, right? You have responsibilities, right? You have the responsibilities to stay on top of subject deadlines, to be aware of what my expectations are in terms of what you need to do on exams, on assignments. And then you also have the right to have resources to assist you in ensuring that an academic integrity violation does not occur. So concerns around things like plagiarism, we will provide you with citation guides or links to citation guides so that you're referring to resources you've used or the work of others in an appropriate manner. Cheating. We have a number of resources that as faculty members we have access to check your questions, to make sure that you're not plagiarizing or not citing the work of others or using the work of others without appropriate citation. But you also have resources to assist you to ensure that, again, that you're following the principles of academic integrity that have been outlined. Okay. We're going to be having some discussions, so I've outlined a couple of specific policies that I have regarding discussions. A lot of these come from lovely, kind of what I call aggressively human or student-focused, kindness-centered, caring-centered, heart-centered practices and pedagogy, or how we teach and the way we teach. So really these policies are not meant to be prohibitive or restrictive or prescriptive, but are rather meant to be guidelines, are meant to be ways of thinking about how we can approach the class in a way that will allow us to have really fruitful, exciting, engaging discussions where we all feel empowered to talk, or also feel safe to not talk as well. So please do go over these, read over these carefully, as well as the document that I'll post online, and then we'll have chances to engage with these discussion questions throughout the term as well. Okay, just to help you out a little bit, let's move me out of the way so you can see this a little bit better. I've posted kind of a summary of how I recommend you approach this course in terms of workflow. So start by reading the lecture notes, then watch these little summary videos I'll be posted. Then engage with the textbook or PDFs that I post. Throughout this process, you should be writing a lot of questions down, taking notes, so that when you come to office hours or come to our weekly discussion sessions, you can contribute, right? You can ask, hey, Dr. Biittner, this was really unclear. You were really obtuse in your explanation of this, or it was confusing, or do you have another example that might make this clear? So all of these things will be really useful and will be to your benefit and also the class's benefit to bring to our discussions. I'll be posting additional resources, just things I think are interesting for you, so feel free to review those. Often they're just other examples of stuff we've talked about in class that hopefully will illustrate the points. And then finally, if it's appropriate for that week, you'll want to complete the assessment activity or exercise for that week. Okay. I've then posted a schedule. Again, sorry, I'm kind of blocking this out. So you'll see that's kind of in this flow chart where you'll see what the topics will be covered this week, what videos you'll need to watch, what chapters you'll need to read, and then if there is a learning activity. And you'll see that what I've done is I've kind of bounced back and forth between a lab exercise. So we begin with lab exercises this week, and then a non-required, non-mandatory learning exercise that we'll do in our collaborate session. So we'll have a chance to do something. So we have our first topic, our first learning exercise for week 2, after we talk about what archaeology is and the different kinds of archaeologies that exist. I'm going to have you draw an archaeologist, and we'll talk a little bit about why that activity is a useful exercise. And then I've given your little due dates for here for you as well. Okay. Note on labs. So again, you've seen that we don't have labs every single week. They'll be every second week. You have the lab safety course, and then 4 exercises that you'll need to be handing in for the entire term. We have a textbook. We've been using this for a couple of years now for a couple of different sections. So hopefully you can find a copy. A physical copy is not required. The ebook version is acceptable. You don't have to purchase any supplementary resources that are provided by the textbook publisher, or if any free ones are provided, you can use them, but I won't expect you to engage with those. So they're just extra bonus stuff for you to have as other resources. I've already posted a little short video introducing myself and my work. Dr. Prince has as well, so please do take a look at those if you just want to get a feel for who you're dealing with in this term. And then again, I've already mentioned really the importance of questions. If you have questions for me, please do bring them to me. Bring them to our discussions. Send them to me in email. I'll create a Blackboard discussion forum where you can interact with each other, and you can post your questions there as well. Last few things is I just do want to acknowledge that we are on Treaty 6 territory. This is the traditional land of many Indigenous groups and our people. I myself, I'm from a white settler line, and I talk a little bit about that in the video and in the notes below about how I'm Edmonton born and raised, but really seeing our land as treaty land, really acknowledging its importance and living its importance to Indigenous people and to all of us who live on this land. Is kind of a new thing for even myself, even as an anthropologist. So we're going to engage with this a lot more about the importance of acknowledging where we come from, acknowledging that we're on Treaty 6 land, not just from the perspective of reconciliation, but from the broader anthropological and archaeological ideas around how we enculture the landscape. As archaeologists, we deal with places, locations that are tied with culture, locations that have cultural meaning and significance. And so it's really important that we not only begin with our course with a land acknowledgement, but that we come back into this repeatedly throughout the term and engage with this idea as archaeologists, as anthropologists. So to summarize then, for this week topic, and I'll have the summary for every topic, know your syllabus. I don't know why there's this weird little icon there, but anyways, I'll fix that for future labs. It's weird that's a little immunization. Maybe that's your reality shot that you're getting, right? It's like, live your syllabus. Your syllabus will protect you. It's our contract for the course. Anyways, I diverge, and I'm going to do that often in these videos, so just welcome to the class and welcome to my style. So know your syllabus, live the syllabus, ask questions about the syllabus, know how to access materials if you have problems with it that are larger than the systemic issues of Blackboard, but for some reason something's not downloading for you. Let me know. I'll find alternative pathways for getting this information to you. If Blackboard gets overwhelmed and crashes, don't worry, I have a backup plan in place that will ensure that you get access to these materials. Do your readings, ask a lot of questions, contact us. I'm really excited about this term, as much as I'd prefer, and I'm sure many of you would prefer, that we were seeing each other face to face all week. Know that I promise I'm always going to bring energy and enthusiasm. I love archaeology. I'm excited about this course, and I'm excited for you to join us again this term. So let's do this. Let's get underway. And starting next week, we're going to really get into some exciting topics. We're going to begin at the beginning with looking at what archaeology is, how it's taught within our discipline, and the different kinds of archaeology that are practiced today, which will frame our discussion of what archaeologists do for the rest of the term. Okay. So that's everything. And you'll see that on my lecture notes are always going to have a very standardized format. They'll begin with a topic overview, they'll have the content, and then a summary, references, assessments will always be towards the end. So hopefully you'll have a lot of reminders of what my expectations are, what you're expected to do, and we'll have really great, clear communication throughout the term.